Hey guys, and welcome back to another Arbaki's commentary. Today we're in Jungle Basin. We have Juicebox in the southeast corner, playing as Zerg, versus Lockehaven playing in the northwest corner as the Protoss. Jungle Basin has some interesting map characteristics. You have a large starting position with a narrow choke point, and you also have a backdoor expansion right here with another narrow choke. And once you get back here, you can see that it's actually connected to the rest of the map with destructible rocks between. It's then a larger choke there. It's much easier to defend this map because although you have a moderately large walk distance from here to the back of your natural, your opponent has a much larger distance because they have to walk all the way around here, down that ramp and then back up. So it's very practical for a player to expand early here, initially just choking off their main ramp with some buildings or a couple units. With Protoss they could also use sentries, and then later on they can either get a few more units to block the back and watch the rocks, or they can just totally wall off in the front and have everything funnel out through the back. This makes a good third expansion for, or third base, second expansion for a lot of players, although sometimes it makes more sense for Zerg to go for the center position, because then they can just work their creep highway all the way down to the middle, and then they just have a short walk distance from their newest base with the creep to their opponent's main base. And here we see Lockehaven sending down his first probe to scout, see what's up. We already have an Overlord out at the front. Apparently Juicebox doesn't want to bother sending his Overlord all the way across the map, so he just wants to be able to see when a probe comes in. That's a good idea, because if Lockehaven were trying to place a proxy pylon, he might try to drop one up here, or down here, or maybe even sneak one back around here. And it would be very hard for Juicebox to find it without sending a drone to look around for it, but if he has the Overlord out at the front, he can find it right away. Both players are kind of taking it easy right now with it fluctuates, I guess, but it's sitting at about 30 and 40 average APM right now. They're not just spamming for spamming's sake. And this should turn out to be a pretty good game. It was on StarCraftArena.net, Husky and HD's website anyway, and it was listed as an epic game, so hopefully we're going to see an epic game today between these two players. See, Juicebox is already throwing down his spawning pool, which Lockehaven can see. He's doing a pretty standard early expansion followed by spawning pool. On the other hand, Lockehaven is walling in mostly. He's made a little choke point for his units to squeeze out. He's probably just going to block that with a Zealot or maybe a Stalker later. Although he really needs to, I guess he has the scouting, so he knows that nothing's coming towards him. He doesn't have to worry about blocking it quite yet. But sooner or later he's going to want to put a Zealot there probably, or even a Stalker. So it looks like Lockehaven's probably planning to do a quick expansion. Or maybe not, maybe he's going to do 4 warp gates. It might make sense to block off the front and do an expansion, because he knows that his opponent's already expanded. He's working on a few Zerglings now, but he has bigger economic opportunities right now, Juicebox does. So it makes sense, as long as Lockehaven has a safe front door, and the back door is protected by rocks for now, it would make sense to just go ahead and expand himself, keep up in the macro game. Another good trick that Lockehaven could try is he could just throw down a pylon right over here, and once he gets warp gates he can throw all 4 down over here. If he's careful about where he puts the pylon, he might be able to get it down without the Overlord seeing him, although he probably doesn't know exactly where the Overlord is yet. That's definitely something Lockehaven should look into, just so that he has more options of attack. Even if he drops a pylon here and decides not to use it, the option still is there. He has a threat of force, so Juicebox has to be ready to defend against that if it happens. And that really puts him on his back foot, because he has to be able to, if he wants to put a forward aggression out, he also has to make extra units to defend the back. So here we are, we have a Zealot blocking the front and a Stalker ready to shoot at anybody that tries to walk up. This is going to be plenty to hold off any early aggression by Zerglings alone. And Juicebox is doing the right thing. He realizes, I can't put on pressure in the front. There's a wall that I'd lose all my Zerglings to get through. So I might as well start working on those back rocks. Start picking them away. Even if I can only do a little bit of damage before I get caught, it's still better than nothing. Oh, and with good player sense, maybe Lockehaven realizes he should just drop a pylon down here, and he's going to see that these rocks are being taken down. That should get, yeah, right away. Ooh, he might not want to take everything out. He might want to leave just 1 Zealot up at the front to defend. Keep out any extra Zerglings that try to come through. Like, these Zealots don't have anything they can do. As long as we have the Stalker here picking off the Zerglings, he's probably going to pull back. If he doesn't, he's going to lose a lot of Zerglings in the process. And you don't need the Zealots up here right away. in all likelihood, this is a much easier place to defend against Zerglings anyway. It's probably, if you're not planning to expand, you might as well defend back here. That was a good choice to back up for Juicebox. He couldn't do a whole lot here against this army. These zealots could easily hold off his meager Zerg force. He just needs to macro up. He really is falling behind in the drone game. He could be putting on a lot more drones. He should probably move a few down to his expansion. That's a good decision because then the minerals will last longer. These are down to 950 or so, and these ones are still sitting at 1500 unused. So you might as well be taking evenly from both expansions. That way both bases last longer, and you don't have to run out of one expansion while the other expansion has plenty of minerals left. Not a whole lot is happening right now otherwise. Players are being calm and collected, and I guess there's only lost 6 Zerglings, Red is. We're looking at layer tech already, so hopefully there'll be some Spire coming out so we can have better map control and be able to get through the front door more easily. Or maybe he'll just choose to go Infestors and tech right up to something even higher tech, who knows. And we're already seeing Protons weapons 1, so that's really good because the Zealots can then take down the Zerglings in just 2 swings, so that really slows down, it speeds up rather the damage you can do against those Zerglings with Zealots. And as long as the Zergs don't get extra defense, extra armor, it'll be a very powerful way for them to push forward. But not a lot else this is going on right now. Nobody's working on the back rocks. The armies are just massing up, working on macro. Lockehaven can see what's going on with this observer up here. He knows exactly what the Juicebox is going. He sees that there's a few roaches, but for the most part it's just mass Zerglings. And the wall's trying to be built up, and there's creep spread right now. On the other hand, Juicebox doesn't see anything in Lockehaven's base. He sees one gateway, Cybernetics Core, and that's it. He doesn't know if there's an expansion. He probably supposes there is. He doesn't know if there's warp gates or maybe there's starports coming out. He has to be ready against any void ray aggression, especially this late into the game, 10 minutes. There's a lot of things that can go on right now, and he just has no idea what's going on. All he knows is that when he poked at the back door here, he saw quite a few Zealots, Stalker, a couple sentries. That could be 2, 3 warp gates and then a couple of star gates. It could be Colossus coming out. He just doesn't know. All those would be really powerful attacks against him, but he needs to know which one it is so that he knows how to respond. Lockehaven's trying to respond to seeing the roaches. He's getting a couple of mortals out. He's getting some more stalkers. Basically, just wants to get a lot of units who can take out those roaches in a reasonable amount of time. Stalkers are pretty good against roaches since they do extra damage against it, and the extra upgraded damage is going to help out too. So here now Lockehaven's pushing out across the map. Hopefully he'll get his observer out here so he can take down some of these creep tumors. And unfortunately for him, Juicebox sees exactly what's happening. Sent out the Zerglings and he was able to see the approaching army. So yeah, this observer is going to be key here. He needs to be able to shoot up the ramp or somehow deal with this. He needs to funnel. He needs to, yeah, there we go. He's dropped the sentry dropped the force field, separating out the Zerglings from the rest of the fight. He needs to be careful with this sentry. It's a lot of gas to go to waste. He has a lot of energy on it still. He really needs a force field right now. Split this army in 2. Oh, and he just lets the sentry go down for no reason. Oh, good. He got the block here. The roaches are trapped and stuck. He's able to pick off the rest of these, no problem. The Immortals are just killing the house. 2 kills, 9 kills. 9 kills on an Immortal. Easily paid for itself. But he has to be careful with these Immortals because they're about to get picked off. They're coming around trying to get us around, not doing the best job of it. But at the very least they're going to be able to get these 2 Immortals, which is a huge loss. Huge loss for Lockehaven. He's able to hold up against that, and that's not something he can do without the sentries. So he let that sentry go down needlessly earlier. Would have been much more effective if he had been able to hold on to it and been more careful with it. Now he has a photon cannon in the back to defend against any backdoor aggression, but the rocks just don't have a lot of health left. He could easily throw down a few roaches over here and start taking pot shots without receiving damage back, or he could just throw up more Zerglings and take it down really fast and then just run on through and clean up this expansion. Lockehaven just isn't macroing up very well. He has 1,500 minerals, 400 gas, and only